So, my dear friends, let's go ahead and let's start with our revision session, where we are going to cover the entire course in 30 to 35 days, or I can say 30 to 35 lectures. Sometimes I can take 1 minute. 2 lectures also in a day, depending upon the time availability, so that as soon as possible, we can complete the lectures. Now, how we are going to proceed further with these lectures? Now, since we have a limited time, we are supposed to maximum utilize, you have to utilize this minimum time in a way that will get the maximum benefit. Okay, sir, how are we supposed to do that? Simple. See, max, stats, LR, together our weightage is 100 marks. Okay, so entire this 100 marks have made a summary notes. Okay, so entire topic we are going to cover from this summary notes itself. Slowly, each and every topic will take up from this summary. Again, let's not have two different notes, one class notes and one summary notes. But again, before the examination, you need not get confused what to read, whether class notes or summary notes. So what we'll do, just go ahead to these summary notes in the class as well as before the examination. So first, what we'll do, we will cover the summary notes. After covering the summary notes, there are some selected sums what I'll solve. I'll solve few selected sums. These selected sums cover the entire concept. Okay. If you solve these sums before the examination, that's best. And there are some previous year questions which I'll give you, which you have to solve it by yourself. Okay. I'll try to give it along with a solution. Okay. Those questions, previous year questions, which you'll solve it. These three things are more than enough to clear the examination. Okay. Now, how we are going to proceed with the classes? First, what we are going to do? First, we are going to start with statistics. And in statistics, what we are going to cover? First, we'll cover introduction to statistics. Introduction to statistics. This introduction to statistics, we have total 3 bifurcations for introduction to statistics. First bifurcation is we have pure introduction, that is complete theory. There is no practical part in this. Next, we have frequency distribution, complete practical part. And next, we are having sampling theory. These are the 3 parts what we have in our first chapter, introduction to statistics. Next, after introduction to statistics, we'll go ahead and cover central tendency and dispersion. After central tendency and dispersion, we will cover probability. And then at last, we'll cover index numbers. These are the 4 things what we'll cover in statistics first. Sir, what about theoretical distribution, correlation, regression? Yes, we'll cover that also, but we'll cover them at the end. Okay, because our first motto is to clear the examination, then to get exemption, then to cross 80, then to cross 90. Okay, so because by the time these 4 chapters are completed, you'll get a confidence that you'll clear the examination. Because these 4 chapters alone comprise a weightage of 30 marks. So 30 mark syllabus would be completed in these 4 parts. Next, after these things, what we'll be doing? You people will do time value of money at your own pace. Already videos are recorded for time value of money. You will be doing it for your own pace. But there are some more questions which I'll solve along with you. Okay. Like by the time I complete these 4 chapters, you should complete time value of money also. Okay. After that, we'll have 2 live sessions where I'll cover few important previous year questions. Next, 6th chapter, what we'll be doing? We'll be doing sequence and series. After sequence and series, we'll be doing permutations and combinations. And after permutations and combinations, we will do equations. So again, these 4 chapters, 13 and 15, will have 28 marks. So by this time, how much we have covered? We have covered 58 marks of the syllabus. Okay. Then we will be having logical reasoning. Logical reasoning, 4 chapters, each and every sum I'll solve. I'll give you some 200 questions for logical reasoning, which will solve by yourself. Okay, there will be covering 20 marks. So 30, 28, 20. 78 marks. So first our target will be to complete the 78 marks. As soon as possible, first we have to cover the 78 marks. When the 78 marks are covered, then we will go ahead and we will cover the balance 22 marks. Let me tell you, my dear friends, how much time it will take to cover me this 78 marks. The same amount of time will be taken to cover the balance 22 marks. So these chapters are small chapters and have the maximum weightage. In these 78 marks plus additional 2-3 chapters, if you study also, you are going to clear the examination. You are going to get exemption. Okay. So I hope the point is clear. This is how I'm going to cover the whole syllabus. Okay. First statistics part, then mathematics part, then logical reasoning part. Yeah, probability and permutation, there is some relationship. However, you will be in a position to manage it. There's nothing much difficulty in that. Now, first, what we'll do is that today we'll start with frequency distribution. And today itself, I'll try to complete the frequency distribution also. And coming to the statistics part, don't worry, every sum in icai material I'll cover. There is no sum in icai material which I'll not cover. So you need not worry about it. All the sums in icai material will be covered. So chill about that icai material. You need not think about that icai material. Everything I'll cover this. Now let's start with the frequency distribution. Now these notes I've already shared. Some of you even have this printed copy. So just you can go through that. Some things what we'll do is that we'll do slowly each and everything. Then we will cover from icai material also. Now coming to frequency distribution. Okay, you can just turn your pages. You will have index page. There you'll find this frequency distribution. Now, before starting this frequency distribution, I hope you are not listening to the first time, because some little knowledge you have, even if you have 2 to 5% of knowledge also, it's completely fine. So I hope we know in statistics, what are we supposed to deal in statistics? Our entire game of statistics is to deal with data itself, right? The entire concept of statistics is to deal with data. We'll be having too many numbers. How you use that numbers for analysis is what we are going to do in statistics. I know the population of a country is 100 crores. How will you use this number 100 crores? Is what you are going to do in the statistics. You know, average marks scored by students in a class is 75 marks out of 100. How you use the data to deal with the students' statistics. You know, 2 classes are there. One class average is 75, one class average is 40. You know, class which has average of 75 marks is the best class. Class which has average of 40 is a poor class. So these type of analysis are what we are going to do in statistics. As I said you, my dear friends, first chapter is divided into 3 parts. We are having introduction. We'll be having definition of statistics. What is statistics? Origin of the word statistics, types of statistics, all these things. Okay. How will you collect the data? All these things. That's complete theory. We'll do after 3-4 chapters. Next, we'll be having frequency distribution. And at third, we'll be having sampling theory. So first, let me cover frequency distribution, then central tendency and dispersion, probability, index numbers, then sampling theory, then introduction. It will take, I guess, 10 to 12 sessions. We'll have all these things. So will it be covered? Yes, it will be covered. You need not worry about it. Now, first, what is this frequency distribution? First, let us understand the word frequency. The frequency refers to how many times an observation is repeated. The number of times an observation is repeated is called as frequency. My dear friends, let me tell you, if there is any lag in the voice, or if there is any, there is a little lag in the screen, but if there is any lag in the voice, you can text me there, okay? Or you can even WhatsApp in my number. There is no issue, okay? Now, so frequency distribution. So frequency means the number of times an observation is repeated is called as frequency distribution. Like say, for example, you have plotted a data. And in this data, I'm having observations like this. Like I have taken marks of 5 students. The marks of 5 students are 50 marks, 50 marks, 40 marks, 30 marks, and 50 marks. So if you see this 50, 40, 30, what I have written here are called as observations. How many times 50 marks is repeated, my dear friends? 50 marks is repeated 3 times. This 3, what I have written over here, is called as frequency. Okay. How many times 40 is repeated? It is repeated 1 time. This one, what I have written here, is called as frequency. The number of times an observation is repeated is called as frequency. My dear friends, this frequency distribution, before starting with frequency distribution, let us understand representation of data. Now, what is this representation of data? Representation of data means how will you present the data for statistical analysis. See, the main purpose of the entire data is to arrange it for statistical analysis. Okay. So representation of data. This representation of data can happen in 2 ways. One is individual data or ungrouped data. One more is frequency distribution or grouped data. Now, what is this individual data or ungrouped data? So, you're telling voice is lagging. Well, I hope now it is fine. Sure, let's continue. So, number of times an observation is repeated, we call it as frequency. And a representation of data, we have 2 forms. First, individual or ungroup. Next one is frequency distribution or grouped data. Now, what are we supposed to do here? This individual data or ungrouped data, first let's go ahead and understand this. Individual or ungrouped data means each and every observation, you write them as it is in the data. What I'm telling, each and every observation, you write them as it is in the data, it is called as individual or ungrouped observation. Like I'm telling, marks of 5 students, 10, 15, 20, 30, 50, just have written the data like that. That is called as individual or ungrouped data. Now, my dear friends, individual or ungrouped data is of no use in statistics. Okay, no statistical analysis can be performed with individual or ungrouped data. Now, because say for example, some crore observations are there, you'll go and you'll write each and every observation. No, it will be foolishness there. So what we'll do, this individual data itself will convert into grouped data or frequency distribution. Okay, one more word for this grouped data is called as frequency distribution. That's what we are going to study. This individual data itself will go ahead and will convert it into frequency distribution. Okay, so individual data is must, because without individual data, there is no frequency distribution. So first collect individual data, then use this individual data to convert it into frequency distribution. Now, this frequency distribution, also called as grouped data, you have 2 types of frequency distribution. One is called as discrete data, one is called as continuous data. Now, what is this discrete data? What is this continuous data? First, understand what is discrete. Discrete means a finite number is called as discrete number. Like I'm telling, number of petals in a flower. Can you count how many petals are there in a flower? Yes, sir, we can count 5, 6, 7, 8. I can count. That is called as discrete number. Now, if frequency is assigned to discrete number, we call it as discrete data. What is this continuous data? If frequency assigned to a value in interval, we call it as continuous data. Let me give you an example. So I hope, Gita, now there is no lag in the voice. You can text me still if there is any lag. Okay, fine. Now, like say for example, I'm telling I'm having somewhere around 20 observations. Let us take around 20 observations. 5, 10, 5, 7, 6, 3, 2, 9, 5, 10, 7. How many are over? 1, 2, 3, over 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so I'm taking total 20 observations. Let us take that these are marks of students in an examination. 20 observations are there. So what I have written here, all individual data I have written here, right? So this is called as individual data. Now I'll convert it into discrete data. See how will I convert. So what is the least value here? Least value is 2. What is the highest value? Highest value is 10. So first I'll record observations. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now with respect to this observations, let us record frequency. Now if you see, my dear friends, how many times the observation 2 is repeated? I guess it is repeated only one time. Yes, frequency is 1. How many times observation 3 is repeated? 1, 2, 3. It is repeated 3 times. How many times 4 is repeated? It is repeated only one time. How many times 5 is repeated? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 times. How many times 6 is repeated? 1, 2. Unfortunately, only 2 times. How many times 7 is repeated? 1, 2, 3 times. 8. Let's check. I guess only one time 8 is repeated. Yes, sir, only one time. 9 is repeated 1, 2 times. What about 10? 1, 2, 3 times. So I hope total of frequency is 20. Yes, the total of frequency is 20. Okay. So I hope the point is clear. Frequency means the number of times an observation is repeated. Here I am assigning frequencies to these discrete variables. That's the reason this is called as discrete data. So can you see clearly, my dear friends, discrete data is developed from individual data. Okay. And continuous data is also developed from individual data itself. I hope that's fine. So I hope individual data is clear and I hope discrete data is clear. Now, my dear friends, let's go ahead and let's understand this continuous data. Now, what is this continuous data? Continuous data means here we are assigning frequencies to value in an interval. Okay. Don't say that discrete is finite, continuous is infinite. Nonsense that is. Continuous means you are assigning value to an interval. That is called as continuous data. Okay. So how many types of continuous data we have? 2 types of continuous data we have. One is exclusive data and one is inclusive data. Exclusive data also called as overlapping data. Inclusive data is also called as non-overlapping data. Now, just see the example, then I'll tell you how this inclusive data and exclusive data is developed. Now, first, exclusive data or overlapping data. Exclusive data or overlapping data means this. These are called as observations. These are called as frequencies. I already said you that. If you see in this question, I am having 4 observations or 4 class intervals. They're an interval, right? That's the reason you call it as intervals. Okay. This all the left side values are called as lower class boundaries. All the right side values are called as upper class boundaries. These are called as lower class limits. These are called as upper class limits. Sir, why like that? Boundaries touch each other, while limits don't touch each other. Okay. You see, boundaries of 2 countries, they touch each other. That's the reason in inclusive data, for exclusive data, we use the word boundaries. Inclusive data, we use the word limits. Okay. Now, these are called as class intervals, 4 class intervals and 4 class intervals. Now, let me explain you what is the difference between this inclusive and exclusive data. How will this inclusive and exclusive data will be developed? All those things. Now, in our entire statistics, we don't use inclusive data. Only thing what we use is exclusive data. So it's quite simple, sir. Once see that inclusive data, I'm telling 9.5. Where you'll record 9.5 inclusive data. Is there any place to record 9.5 inclusive data? No, there is no place to record 9.5 inclusive data. That's the reason always we'll be using exclusive data on. Now, sir, why you have given the names inclusive data and exclusive data? I'll tell you 1 minute. I'm opening icai material so that I can solve one question for you where I'll be converting the data into inclusive and exclusive. Now, when you're converting the data into inclusive or exclusive, most of the important thing what you need to see is the class interval length. What do you think is the length of this class interval 0 to 10? Length means how many observations are 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40. Here length is 10. 10 observations are there. So length is 10. Now, let me take an example, my dear friends, where I'll convert the data into inclusive and exclusive data. So I hope you people are understanding. I hope there is no issue. If there is any issue, you can let me know. Okay, so let me take you one icai example of why to take in a different example when icai has given best examples for us. So let me take one icai example, and from that I'll convert the data into inclusive and exclusive data. Like say for example, I'm having 36 students. The data of 36 students is somewhat like this. Today we'll complete the entire frequency distribution and then we'll stop. If possible, tomorrow I'll take 2 sessions so that we can complete central attendance in one shot. And day after tomorrow also, if possible, I'll take 2 sessions so that in 2 days we can complete central attendance and dispersion. It will not take more than 6 hours. With sums, we'll complete it. Okay. So I'm having 36 students marks, 70, 59, 70, 65, 73, 68, 70, 70, 49, 45, 57, 65, 61, 55, 44, 62, 61, 65, 69, 64, 47, 68, 73, 73, 57, 56, 64, 67, 50, 68, 49, 60, 59, 55. Today's class, you might think only basics are covered. Yes, my dear friends, many students don't know these basics. Without these basics, when they go ahead to understand complicated chapters, they will never get them. And I've seen icai people that are testing minimum 3 to 4 questions only on these basics. Okay. So I hope 36 students data is given. He is asking you to develop a frequency distribution. Frequency distribution with class length as 5. Okay. Today I'll give you homework also. There are 4 sums which I'll give you as homework. You can go ahead and you can solve those 4 sums and test your preparation level. Now I'm asked to develop frequency distribution with class length 5. I will develop both inclusive as well as exclusive data so that you'll understand the difference. And once for all, we can close the discussion of inclusive and exclusive data. Now, my dear friends, whenever you are developing a frequency distribution, first step what you need to do is you need to calculate a range. Sir, what is the range? Difference between highest observation and smallest observation. What is the highest observation in the entire data? 73. What is the smallest observation? 44. So what do you think would be the range here? The range would be 29. I'm telling these are marks. The entire observations are marks. So 29 marks is the range. Now, see, I'm telling class length of 5. I already said you what do you mean by class length. How many observations are there? This is called as class length. Now, I am having range, I am having class length. Now, you should know how many class intervals I'll form where the data will be developed. Let me show. Now, after this, we'll apply one formula, my dear friends. The formula will be number of class intervals into class length must be approximately equal to range. Sir, what is this formula, sir? How it has been developed? I'll let you know. Don't worry. Class length, I know 5. Range, I know 25. I'll apply the formula to get number of class intervals. So, number of class intervals into class length will be equals to 29. Therefore, number of class intervals will be equals to 29 whole divided by 5. We have 5.8, but approximately you will take 6. You will take the next higher number. Next higher number. Say for example, you got 5.1. Even if you get 5.1, you'll take it as 6 itself. Even if you get 5.001 also, you'll take it as 6 itself. Okay, next higher number you will take. So number of class intervals will be 6. Now I will develop inclusive data. Then I will develop exclusive data. Now see how will I develop inclusive data and exclusive data. First observations, then tally marks, then frequencies. Are what marks? Tally marks. Children used to do when they are small tally marks, but now I don't think so. Tally marks are required. Now, what is a starting point? Starting point is 44. Now, what is the class length? 5. Means 5 observations must be there in each class interval. So 44, 45, 46, 47, 48. So 44 to 48. Sir, 44 to 48? What is this? 48 minus 44 is only 4. But you are saying class length is 5. A difference C. 44, 45, 46, 47, 48. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I took 5 observations. It is inclusive data. There is a reason why they call it as inclusive data. I'll tell you. Wait. Just keep listening. Next one, 49. As I already said you, in inclusive data, these two will not touch. Okay. Those two things will not touch. So be careful. So 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 63, 64, 65, sorry, 64, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73. Okay. So can you see how many class intervals did we get? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Number of class intervals is 6. Without formula also we can do that. But I say people has given a formula, so you need to learn that. Because once in examination he asked this formula. Number of class intervals into class length is equals to range. 44 to 48, 49 to 53, 54 to 58, 59 to 63, 64 to 68, 69 to 73. Now can you count how many are there from 44 to 48? Right? I guess we can count how many are there from 44 to 48. Let's see. 44 to 48. 1, 2, 3. 3 are there. So what children will do? 1, 2, 3 they'll count. 5 are there. How will you count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If 6 are there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Children will do this. You people don't do that. Not required. 1, 2, 3. Frequency is 3. Sir, what about 49 to 53? Okay, let's count 49 to 53. 1, 2, 3. Still are you finding anything? 3. 49 to 53. 4. So total 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. 54 to 58.